computer. Okay. I can also share screen. Maybe this will also help. So I was looking at the job description from here. So they
Yeah.
mainly are talking about. So here, multiple things that we have to consider. First of all, black box system level testing. That's one. Number two, transactional APIs for payment gateway system. Um, transactional API for payment is number two. Number three is API gateway system.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like out of the entire job description, this part is exactly what we need, I think. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this half of the sentence already tells us what they expect from a candidate is they want someone who's very strong in API testing.
Yeah.
Number two, if that person has experience with payment system testing.
Yeah.
Number three, if that person has black box testing, but so there's white box and black box. I think they asked you that too last time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't worry much about this. Usually with black box testing, developers help set it up for you. On your local, for example, if they want you to test the API that they have developed recently, they will probably have you set it up on your local and try to run those against some test scenarios, but it might be only local. We'll see. Don't worry about this part much. And last time somebody was asked about the let me see, we could probably see it from my history too. Payment system testing. Here, you see?
Yeah.
So this was asked about payment system. Wait, what? How can I go to this? Archive. Oh, I can't go to that, huh? Custom branding functionality for e-commerce. Pair from Windows product. That's PDP, which was very, very good. Learned e-commerce compliance performance. Oh, okay. So you see payment system testing. You don't have experience with this, right?
No.
Me neither. But while we were researching it, it was very, very, there you go. Payment gateways integration. Testing payment system is crucial to ensure they function accurately, securely. So the biggest notes that we got out of this is what kind of payment system. During the interview, we were also asking question. What are the different types of payments does the system support? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Payment system testing, I really want to encourage you to check it out. Hold on, I'm gonna take note and send it to you too. Payment system. Unless you have done research on this already.
No.
Okay, so please do research on payment system testing. I mean, you might not, or he might not ask tomorrow, but it's still good to be prepared, you know? Just
Yeah.
read and also watch some YouTube videos if you find any. We were not very successful to find last time. What we searched for was payment system testing. I think what we found was yeah, this it was in Indian, by the way. This, yeah, we searched it. They were all in Indian.
Yeah.
And gateway system design. Okay, so payment gateway, see? This might be.
What is a payment gateway and how does it work? A payment gateway is a software application that payment service providers use.
Okay, I'm gonna share this with you. And send that to you. We need to understand what because like I said, I don't have experience with payment system testing. All you need to know, payment processor.
Guys, good morning. It's right. Our user is placing an order.
Man, I wish I had a lot of time. I really want to like get into this. So last time for one interview, I learned about e-commerce, like you saw here.
Yeah.
Earlier when I was scrolling up, PRD and PDP and no, PDP and PLP. So someone applied for e-commerce application, and the testing job they required was someone to have experience with someone that has experience with e-commerce system testing. And they were using during the interview. So do you have experience with PLP and PDP? And
No, that's the thing. They asked me. I thought you asking me. Sorry.
no. So they asked about this during interview. Do you have experience with PDP and PLP testing? And we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then she told them that she has experience with e-commerce, and they're like, and by the time we Googled, the lady's like, okay, so it's okay if you don't have experience. Let's just move to the next question. You know, they were not 100% satisfied, but we researched about PDP and PLP. So every domain has their own terminology. Yeah. So the terminology for PLP and PDP was product details page and product list page. So you know how you are on e-commerce, any websites, online shops, you see the list of products, names and products, maybe very short description of the product. But then when you click on the product, it takes you to the detailed information about the product. So that is PLP. I mean, PDP, product details page. Even though it's that simple, we didn't know what that means. So she didn't get moved to the next, by the way. And then they were also asking, hey, do you have experience with like payment system testing? And because e-commerce obviously requires payment system, yeah?
Yeah.
So they were really hard focused on someone with financial and e-commerce background. Therefore, any knowledge that you learn about, for example, payment gateways or payment processing, anything that has to do with payment, please try to watch but of course, you know, read whatever you can. And then the only reason for that is this part, right? So the payment gateway and API testing. So just because of this, if you have a really strong knowledge around that area, I think you're gonna have a high chance of getting to the next round. As far as UI, I mean, I think you're good. Experience testing them from both quality and test development, that's fine. Ability to test APIs with complex workflows. See, again, API, as well as web-based user interface, multiple fields, input choices, and workflow scenarios. That's good. I will also try to research about this, about payment gateway and all this stuff, and I will try to. What time is your interview tomorrow? 4, right?
4, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will try to research about this too tonight. I mean today, and then we can jump on a quick call tomorrow also, and just to finalize your knowledge about API gateway system and whatever I have, and we can share notes. What do you say?
Sure.
And About the project part, tell me about your project. You're good on that, right?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. That's the thing is, yeah, I have no. I'm trying to get the idea. I have like some prepared test cases, but still, I think this is the main I failed there, because the last time I had an interview, the recruiter was asking like he wasn't asking like tell me over about yourself about project. He was like, "What are you
Project.
doing with your API?" Here, boom, and I stuck, and I don't know what to say. I'm like.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I don't know like how to describe about my project if I don't know what I'm doing.
I know.
Let's say he wants to ask API, what should I start like with? We
Yeah.
testing response and request or like what
Yeah.
he was expecting.
Yeah, let's talk about that because not only you, a lot of people have faced that issue, and
Yeah.
like Altanai, for example, she was struggling with that for like almost 1 month. And one day I
Um,
made her sit and have her work on my project, like the one that from Bank of America. I showed it to her, like, okay,
mhm.
this is what API testing is. This is what I need to verify. Now you write the test case, and she wrote it, and she was like, "This is it." I'm like, "Yeah." What did you expect? She's
Can
like,
I do the same thing, please? Because I
ah,
cannot like I
the
have no
I
picture.
know the freaking problem is the Bank of America computer. It doesn't let us use Zoom or any Slack or anything. That's
So
why,
yeah.
yeah. But it is more simpler than this. Let me share Edamam. I will show you what API testing is here because this has helped me understand a lot about API testing. Not only, I mean, this has helped the students understand a lot about API testing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. So you can also go to this. I will share this link later if you want to try it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sole purpose of API testing mainly, we will be able to understand from here. Log in, and I have an account here. Let me try to log in with that and see if that works.
And ultimately, the girl, the one who get the offer, right?
Yeah, she got the offer.
Right. So she got the full idea, and then
Yeah, I mean, she was with me for 2 months, right? Like
mm-hmm.
I when she first got to me, she was not very she was frustrated, she was nervous, she was very exhausted. It's
Yeah.
like applying to jobs. I don't know what to tell during my interview. I don't know what project is. At least you worked. She never worked. So she was very
Yeah.
scared. So then I started explaining one. I mean, it took a very long time. And then she took a winter break to go to freaking California for a wedding for like 10 days. I mean, really? But then
Yeah.
it was a very close person, so she had to. And after that, she came back and we really started working on it, and boom,
Yeah.
uh, hard work paid off. But the mainly with API stuff, I really like this website. Um, I think this has a very good explanation of API testing, but I'm not able to log in. Why? It should be okay. Let me try with bakhtajiba@gmail.com. Let me try this. Please log in. Okay, it did. Nice. So now, so for you, you're gonna do sign up if you want to practice,
Mm-hmm.
okay? You sign up with
Mm-hmm.
regular uh, email and password. And from here, under products, we can search for recipe, for example, like how to cook some food, right?
Yeah.
Let's click on recipe and we're gonna do the try API here, or I think, was it documentation? Okay, yeah, we can try documentation. And if we click on this, yes. So at work, I don't know if you have seen API documentation, but this is what it's gonna look like. Mostly, they will use Swagger documentation.
Swagger.
Yeah, to document what API is responsible for what, and what does the expected response look like, and what does the expected request body or request payload look like? Request is, you know that part, right? Request and response. Okay. So in here, for example, this endpoint, recipes endpoint, yeah, search for a recipe. So it's a GET request, and even at, like real projects at Bank of America, for example, we have some endpoints. To give you an example, I work with service accounts, and these service accounts are responsible for, it's an internal tool. It has a website like UI just like this. Yeah, you can like click on things, and you can open this kind of we call the nav bar, navigation menu. You can close it, and just like this, it has buttons and stuff like that. So service accounts are like when you join company, they create accounts for you. Meaning, so like with your Bermet Hasanova, for example, they create account, they put it in the system so that you can access internal applications. And not only applications, but also database, right? The QA environment, APIs, and all the links are accessible by only internal people. So at Bank of America, we also have something like that, and we call that ARM, Access Request Manager. It's a website, and we track and manage, control the people's access to different environments, different applications, different database systems, and etc. Now, we also have a SAM application, Service Account Manager application. This one is for, instead of human, these are for services like accounts, meaning for machines. Let's say they create a virtual machine. Virtual machine is another word for a computer, right? Virtual machine is a computer, but it exists only virtually. Doesn't have, it lives in the cloud, and that virtual machine, let's say it has some kind of operating system installed in it, like Linux operating system, and they use this virtual machine for a storage. And
EC2 machines,
yeah, let's say EC2.
something like that.
Yeah, within one EC2 machine, you can have multiple virtual machines if you want to, right? So, and this virtual machine, for example, can have application running in it. And this application, for example, is supposed to take all the employee salaries and do calculation and return the average for like the highest paying employee and things like that. Let's say it's just a simple dummy application. And this application, in order to do the calculations and access the data for the employees' salary information, it needs access to the database authorization, right?
Yep.
So for these accounts, we call them service accounts. Okay, it's not human, it's a machine. So it's a machine-to-machine accounts, service accounts. And these need access, so we use Service Account Manager application that we have at Bank of America, it's a website like this, UI. And we use that application to manage those service accounts. Hey, let's check. This service account is responsible for keeping track of all the logs that gets generated for different applications. So for which applications does this service account need access to? And then when we click on details, it will show us, oh, this service account is able to access the QA environment database for salaries. Okay, how long does the access good for? And what type of service account is it? What type of operating system it's running on? Let's say it's a Linux operating system. Oh, okay. So it's got the Linux operating system running on it, and it needs access to salaries database for QA in the QA environment only. Okay. So from there, we are able to manage this service account. Like we can, for example, cancel the service account if we want to. We can block the access to the database and etc. Now, there is an API which can return all the salaries for different employees, yeah, from the QA database.
Mhm.
So for that, it has search and API enabled. So all it does is when you hit that API by providing some kind of query in the query parameters, let's say you are one of the employees, I want to hit the salaries endpoint, and in the query parameter, it asks for name and last name. I put Bermet Hasanova, and then
Mhm.
I hit send. It will go to that API and get all the salary information about you and displays in the JSON format.
And this it's taken from database, my information,
Correct.
or it's taken
Exactly.
from database.
From the database. Yep.
Mhm.
Here's another fact though. API is not always from UI to database. It's not only that bridge,
Yeah.
but the very, very big picture goal is like that. API's sole purpose of API is to create that connection between database and UI. But
Mhm.
nowadays, APIs got evolved. That means APIs are everything. Okay. API is connection between multiple different ecosystems, meaning multiple different microservices, multiple different web services, multiple different applications, multiple different APIs. So API is a really, really huge term nowadays. It's not
Yeah.
only that connection between UI and database, okay? But the sole purpose is that to solve that issue. Now,
Always like third-party services. There is in your example there is no third-party examples, right? It's
no,
internal. It's database
correct.
API.
Yeah. So ours is, for example, very straightforward, you know, every time when we request for some information, you can track that information from the network tab in the dev tool, like the inspector, right? We can always see to what endpoint the API call is happening, like to what endpoint it's sending the request, what is its payload, all this information we are able to see in the network tab in our Bank of America tools.
Yeah.
Now, coming back to this, it's a get method. This endpoint returns a list of recipes matching the provided criteria. Matching the provided criteria. So it is expecting for some kind of search criteria that we need to provide. And search criteria are provided in query parameters in the API, right?
Yep.
You know what query parameters? Or
Yes, to filter after the
it's a
question
filter.
mark.
That's it, exactly. So I want you to elaborate really, really heavily on that during your interview. Meaning, so the API, let's take a look at this example very quick, and then we need to talk about that. Get started by placing your search query in the queue parameter, fill in your 3-scale credentials, and press try it out button. Okay. This is type of recipe to search for. Okay, it's public, obviously. Okay, in the query, okay, let's hit try it out first. Okay, we want public recipes. And for example, query text, for example, chicken, it says. Required if no other parameter is specified, not required if any other parameter. Okay, let's search for salmon. Salmon recipe. And application ID obtained from the account dashboards. Okay, let me open that in there. So this is our app ID. Oh, this is the app ID, yeah? Okay, let me copy this app ID like when you create account, they generate this for you.
Mhm.
And then application keys. Okay. Okay. So we are searching for salmon recipe. We provided our, so all of these are now query parameters. Filtering. So ingredient, filter by number of
Mhm.
ingredients. Mean, max. Okay. Dietary label. Diet label. You can select multiple labels by holding shift. Okay. Let's, oh, did I just, okay. I don't know how to scroll this thing. Oh. So let's do low fat
Mhm.
and low sodium. Okay. And let's say alcohol free, for example, health label. So all of these selections we are doing are filters, right?
Mhm.
The good thing is when we make the API call, we will be able to see them too. So let's say American salmon recipes that we want to see.
What
And
if one of the filter is not gonna work and it will not show anything? Can be the case or no?
can be what?
If it's one of the filters is not like matched to the database. Let's say
Yeah.
salmon only for dinner is not gonna show up, right?
Yeah, and also that's a very good question. Now that require there is uh, depending on the implementation. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
it showed all the alcohol-free recipes, but let's say it showed for dinner, but then
Mm-hmm.
it showed for American and Asian.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, we need to get that requirement from the product,
Mm-hmm.
saying, hey, I got when I filtered for American Asian, American recipe, which is alcohol free and only for meal type to be dinner. I also got some response that are from the Asian cuisine type,
Mm-hmm.
and
Which is not supposed to be, right? Like, mm-hmm.
that we don't get to decide. So
Mm.
that if they, for example, the developers implemented a implemented the code, the logic in a sense where they used or operator, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Then in that case, it might not be a bug. But if
Mm-hmm.
product says no, that we shouldn't see anything other than American, then it's a bug.
Then it's a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got this. The dish type is main course, let's say. Okay, the rest, image size, blah, blah, blah. Do you see how many query parameters they have?
Yeah.
All of these are different query parameters because some APIs are really, really huge. See, like for example, this. Now you will see the response for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and execute. Okay, now this is exactly what we hit the endpoint. And the recipe, okay, this is the response. You see how big is it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
JSON, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, where does it actually? Okay, health labels. We asked for a health label. Where's our health label here?
Slow diet,
Okay, health,
sodium,
alcohol free.
alcohol.
Now we need to see alcohol free somewhere, right? Oh, there you go. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So it includes that in the response. And how many? Count one from 1 to 1. Oh, okay. Let's remove let's select multiple cuisine type so that it's Asian, British, Caribbean. All right. Execute. One out of one. Why is it only showing us one? Usually it shows really, really big response, you know?
So it basically not filtering. Probably it wants. Maybe should go the. I don't know.
Let's do clear. And okay, it cleared our selection. No, it didn't. Okay, let's remove the alcohol free. Let's remove low. Okay, let's just keep low sodium. And let's also remove this. Let's also remove this filter. Okay. Now let's hit the request again.
Yes. 400.
Oh, okay, we left them empty. But see, that should not be a problem. Like that, we should be able to not select
That's right. Yeah.
alcohol free, let's say, okay. And for this, we want Mediterranean. Okay, I'm gonna select everything. Execute. We get 400 again for which it says cuisine type and dish type. Cancel. Okay, try it out. Oh, it saved it. Okay. Okay, bread, dish type, and then what was the other one? Okay.
Which type? Cuisine type.
Yeah, I selected Middle Eastern. Sorry, it's okay. Nothing was found. But anyways, the most important thing here is the query parameters that comes after this question mark, right?
Yeah.
Anything that comes after. So let me copy this and I'm gonna open that using VS Code. Visual Studio, let's open it. Check it out. Okay, so it's a get request and we don't need this information. So yeah, anything after this question mark and all of these are independent query parameters. So they have this. Okay. Okay. We could do the same request using Postman, right?
Yeah.
Do you wanna try?
What, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, my Postman, I don't know why my Postman is not working. It's just I'm trying to even close it. I quit the Postman It's like it's been a month already. I don't know why. It's just showing me it's loading, but it's not working. My Postman is not working. I wanted to try something else, but it's not. I don't know. I
You-
did quit. I don't.
Did you erase it and then download it?
I don't know. Even I'm trying to even quit the app, but I don't know how to erase it. And it's just loading the whole. I can show you. Can I show you my screen? So
You,
this
one
is.
second. It's okay.
Uh,
Let
okay.
me just
Yeah,
enter.
it's not working.
uh, Great to have you. Desktop app. Copy token. Okay.
About the token thing too, like it depends on generation, from the project to project.
Yes.
How the organization choosing which one we want to do, like behavior token, all out, all the stuff. That's a lot of like
Yeah.
how like you guys choosing, let's say in your bank.
We don't. I
I'm
mean,
sure it should.
yeah, that's usually discussed by software leads, software architects. You know, when they are designing, they get to choose that. Like we as testers, we don't really get much say on that.
But if they can ask me like what kind of security authorization or
You can
what
say
should I say?
you can say JWT token. You can research about it, or I'll text you JWT token or bearer token. Yeah, you can just mention
Better
these two. You can say bearer token, and you should be good. Okay. So here in the headers. Oh, see. So for example, for this one, we used bearer token. Birmit?
Yeah, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I can
For
hear.
this, for example, we used the bearer token because it was in the API documentation. Now let's try the same API that we were trying to test using Postman, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The Edamam for the recipe test. Where is my... Okay. Okay.
And the tester, are they preparing collections or no?
I'm sorry?
As a testers, are we doing collections, any type of a collections, or it's already ones?
Oh, like this? Yeah, you can create your own.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You hit create a new collection, and then inside of it, you can just create new collections. I mean, new requests.
Mm-hmm.
The name.
Okay.
So I have these ones. So I'm gonna use the Edamam food API. Looks like I've already created it. So I'm gonna create new request inside of it, okay? So
Yeah.
for example, Edamam food API here should say request, add request. And in here, I'll say recipe search by get. And I'm gonna put the URL that I copied, okay? And
What's endpoint?
yeah,
Endpoint is V2, right? Or it's a recipe?
recipes.
Okay.
V2 is mostly like version number, version 2. Okay, and then the type, we're gonna put it as public, and those will go in yeah, query param. We can also put them in the headers part, but the headers are mostly about information. I mean, some documentation. For some APIs, the documentation says you have to put them in the headers. So usually these are a query parameterization. Type. What was it? Yeah, type. Oops. Type. And as soon as I type, you see, we can see it getting attached after the question mark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Public. We're not gonna do all of them. Q. We want Salmon. And then the app ID. Let's wait. Why did the app ID have this T at the end? Interesting. Let's look at the request here. App ID is, yeah, let's go with that. App ID, we're passing it in the query parameters. That should be okay. Okay, we put the app ID here. And also, let's go ahead and bring app key from here to here. Okay. We said salmon, and maybe we can specify the meal type or meal type. Let's go ahead and put meal type to be dinner. Now, let's go ahead and send our request now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and save it for now. Let's see. All right. Okay. How many? Wow. Look how many response we got. Oh
That's a
man.
lot.
Yeah, it's huge. But you see, the API is very, very huge. Like the data, you see, for one of the
Mm-hmm.
recipes, you probably get like, I don't know. You see, this one is specifically designed for, like, so vitamin B12.
Yeah.
And it says the total whatever, the daily, how much. I don't even know what these are. And these are the health labels, for example, alcohol-free, sugar-conscious, keto-friendly, dairy-free, and diet labels, for example, low-carb, low-sodium, ingredients. Look at the ingredients, for example, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cautions. And then that was ingredient lines. And ingredients is a whole huge array by itself, which has bunch of different um, objects, and each object contains some kind of information. For example, this
If
guy.
we wanna take the object, is it like we should store an array list, or let's say we want like couple objects.
Mhm. You have multiple. I mean, oh, store them in array list, yeah. But you know how you would convert these to an object, right? Like Java object versus JavaScript object. So these are JavaScript object notations. One object right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we also need to convert this to Java. I mean, depending on if this is something that you would have to implement into your framework and you have to run it, you will be using it a lot, then it's better
Yeah.
to create a POJO for it, right?
Yeah.
Java page, Java class, so that you have for each of these would be considered as instance variables inside a class, and you will have getters and setters for them. And all you have to do is get to this ingredients array from the response and just grab each object here, because look, it contains the same properties, right? Text, quantity, measure, these two objects, they have the same properties. It's just the values that need to be separate, different for every object that you're going to create in Java so that you can validate them. And then these objects, you can store them inside array list, like you said.
But Pojo is like really unreal what Pojo's using. Are you guys using Pojo? Or maybe other than Pojo, what else I can do? Let's say it's not creating any Pojo class.
Pojos they're just helper to make your life
That's
easy.
a helper, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's to make your life easier, especially for reusable code and code maintenance. It is better to use Pojos, plain old Java objects. Just create a class and have these instance variables created. And for each of them, you just create getters and setters. You said your strength was Java, or
I mean, Java is like I'm saying this is Java is like my main language, yeah. But the last time, well,
you
I used
coded?
Java, it was like a year ago, and I keep
You
forgetting
forgot.
stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me. Even me, if I don't practice for like few months, a lot of things I have to recap again. But the good
Yeah,
thing for me is I have to teach, so I always keep myself up to date. But for you,
that's good, yeah.
I know. For you, what I can suggest is try to do the same. Try to keep practicing every now and then. I know with kids and life, trust me, even for me and my wife, it was very challenging. But just for yourself, for your own sake, later on, just practice, please, as much as you can, whenever you can, whenever you get opportunity.
Yeah.
So you see, API data can be very huge. And what, for example, in the API testing, what do you validate?
Request, oh, I mean response and response code and response body payload.
Correct. And also you have to make sure that you are passing the correct query parameters, right?
Yeah.
Look at this, because if we, for example, strategically, you saw how many different types of querying that we can do, right?
Yeah.
So we are, like you earlier suggested, if I search for one of the cuisine types, like if I search for American, what if I see you know uh, Asian show up in the results? What happens then? So is that a bug or not? But then look at the response. So we searched for this is huge. Label, health label, was it?
Cuisine, I think.
No, for one of the results, it had, yeah, this, for example, health labels, yeah. Let's say we searched for so this one has so many health labels in it. Look, it has alcohol free, but at the same time it's mustard free.
Yeah.
So this would not be a bug, right? Because alcohol free is one of the health labels that it has. It also has many other health labels associated with this ingredient, I mean recipe. Let's also search for the cuisine type. Wait, what happened? Where did my response go?
I don't know. Mhm.
No.
No, it's okay. I think I get it. But overall, like let's say if how you would say if we're gonna say, okay, you're doing API testing, what are you doing in your project? What should I say? Something that
Yeah.
like easy
So
to explain, but
exactly.
uh,
for that, we have to come up with something customized for you. So if I ask you, can you tell me about your project? What do you say? Let's go with that first.
My project was there. So I have about my project. Give me a second. I found it. It's about myself. Here is my project. So Verizon offers streaming subscription for different packages on the different platforms with the freedom of mix and match services without any annual contracts. For example, we have sport package where user can able pick up channels, NBA League, Spanish package, international package. And then as well as a user have an option to schedule to record to the program they want to see later. So I'm working on testing this project, which also includes accounts information, billing, control home network settings. Also project involves web iOS TV streaming testing. And besides our project involves testing like Wi-Fi connection, soundbars, wireless, and DVRs. This is what I'm saying about my project.
Good, very, very good, impressive,
Yeah.
super, super description, which is
Yeah.
very good.
Thank you.
Now, so you are saying different channels, right? Like sports channel and etc. for the streaming project.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you verify how many different channels do you have, or how many different channels does the streaming website support?
So I'm assuming I'm sending a get request
Exactly.
with the
See?
endpoint. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so what exactly do you validate in that response, or in that API code? What do you have to make sure that you have?
I can tell that like the name of the channel is right. Can I say that? And the number of the channel is correct. Let's say if NFL is like number 5 channel, so I'm verifying is it's under number 5, right?
Okay.
Or no?
Yeah, I mean, you said
Yeah.
correct, but how I would approach this answer to this question on my response is that, well, this can be very tricky because for getting the list of channels, I mean, we got the channel list endpoint, like channels endpoint. And obviously, when I hit that, I got to make sure that my the token that I'm passing is correct. And within the headers, I should set, for example, here, except
JSON.
yeah, application JSON needs to be set properly. And the endpoint that I'm hitting with the base URL are correct. And for example, here, get nutritions, you see, I have to provide a valid app ID, meaning in that case, you can say the token that you're providing has to be correct, right? And also the endpoint, you see, the endpoint here is nutrition data. So for you, it's channels endpoint.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure that's correct. And when you hit send, obviously, from the response, you need to, let's imagine these are the channels, okay? Health labels.
Yeah.
So you need to verify all the list of channels that the streaming application supports have to be there. So this is how I would answer. See, I took your answer, but also you have to like describe it very technical, in a very technical.
Yeah.
So use these API related terminology. I need to verify my endpoint. I have to make sure my token is correct. And I also need to obviously check the URL and the supported content type and accept type, which can be set within the headers. And then, yeah, when I send the request, once I get the response, obviously, if I get a response, then it's a 200 status code. And also, the most important thing here is to validate the count of channels that I received. So there's a property in the response which defines the number of channels that we have, the count. I need to verify that. And also, it provides us the list of channels that we support in an array. I just need to check, make sure that all the channels that we support are listed properly. And obviously, the response has to be in the JSON format. So that's what I check.
Sounds good.
And another thing is, Uh, in API, it's not always just getting the request, right?
Yeah.
Getting the list of information. Sometimes you have to do put or patch.
Yeah.
And for this, you have QA environment. And since you have QA environment, obviously it has QA database to it. So for your testing, you can, with post request, we create a record into the database, right? Mostly.
Mm-hmm.
In order to create something, you have to pass the correct endpoint and correct request body, request payload.
Yep.
So by following the documentation in the Swagger, you can create some test data and post it in the backend by using post request. Or put is to update the record, or patch will update only partially, right?
Yes.
You know the difference. You will be able to explain
Yes.
the difference. Okay, good. That's very crucial for this position, I think. And what else? Yeah, you can come up with, so that's a streaming application, and user should be also able to record, you said?
Yes. Recording option. Yeah.
So when they record, where does it get saved?
In their devices, like a device DVR. So every user have their own device, and then the program is recording, and then user is able to watch his device watch at home, and then basically they paying for these devices.
Okay. Now, how are these devices storing it on their local or in the cloud?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If it's in the cloud, then you should be, so if, do you do testing on those devices or no?
No, I mean, no, usually. I mean, I'm connecting those devices, I'm recording it, and I'm playing it. This is how I test it. I play, let's say I have a movie, I record it, I am playing. I'm making sure it's playing. I have a recording, I have playback, stop, pause, all this stuff
So
manually.
after you have recorded, if there's no internet, will you still be able to watch because you have recorded it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so it records on locally on the device's memory itself, not to the cloud.
Okay.
Good. Now, what if the memory is full? How big the memory is?
I don't know.
So that could be one of the good testing scenarios, by the way, you know? And what are the different types of file formats it can support? Like, good. So for that, what else? If the customers, so was it a website or?
We have website, we have iOS app, and then we have we have a bunch of it. I'm
Okay,
trying to say that I'm tested web app based, but I
okay.
never tested that. I tested the mobile app for iOS manually.
So
That's
what
why
are
I'm
the,
having hard time to transition like from manual to, I'm like, what automation team doing? I have no idea.
that's okay. So whatever the mobile functionalities and features it has, I am sure they mostly exist on the website also. Okay.
Yes.
If I were you, I would probably buy that device and try to create an account and see whatever they have on the website, unless you have done that already.
No, I haven't, but yeah, good idea. I'll try to do that. Cause like, yeah,
Do you have the uh, access to the website though?
to the main Verizon.com, yeah, but I forgot all the passwords and usernames we used.
But
It was just two
yeah, not to the,
accounts.
oh, it's on the main web page of Verizon. But once you go to Verizon,
Yeah.
you probably need to go to like streaming or some kind of page, right?
Yeah, you choosing, yeah, there's like options, you signing through, you have options signing through mobile, through your devices, like all the stuff. And then once you're there, you can choose like what you're gonna watch. I will
Okay.
have mobile, home internet, shop, and deals.
So
So
you see all of the steps that you just described to me, right?
yeah,
They can just be automated. Like you can manually navigate to the, I mean, you go open the browser, go to Verizon, go to some whatever, and then go to options, and then go to the stream, and you choose the device, and from there you click on what you want to watch. Obviously, when you are filtering what you want to watch, there's a lot of filtering options, I can imagine, you know?
yeah, well,
Yeah, sports, whatever, drama, action movies, or kids. So for
even Xbox
you see, that's I'm sure they have
gaming,
a
yeah.
team for that. And now, so all the steps that you are doing right now, they can also be automated using Selenium.
Mm-hmm.
So you can say, yeah, I've automated, for example, a lot of stuff there. Like one of the um, recent ones that I can think of is the from the filtering perspective, right? Once we filter for uh, different types of movies and different types of channels, then we also need to narrow down our search to the different types of movies, like sports,
Yeah,
actions and stuff like that.
drama, comedy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And we need to go to each movie and verify it's available, or is it uh, given the users access, or the account, is it something that they can access? And we also have like 18 plus, right?
Yeah,
All of these verifications need to be confirmed by the user and blah, blah, blah. So all of these things
yep.
automated, and you can say, I have automated these. And now, same things that you do in the UI. So let's say we are searching and filtering different channel and different movie. Let's say we're searching for Terminator, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Terminator, yeah? We're searching
Yep.
for Terminator, and then the filtering. Just like we did with the edamame right now, we searched for salmon. You can
Mm-hmm.
hit that endpoint for the list of movies, and you can search for Terminator. You can search, for example, Terminator 1, 2, 3 by the year, release year, and this can also be done using the API. So you have done
Yep.
API testing for that.
Sounds good.
I mean, that's what I would say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because now I have a picture of how to do it, how to say it
Yes,
through a API perspective.
correct. Yep.
Thank you.
All right, Bermit. I think we can end for today. Yeah. Is it
Yep,
okay?
yep,
So
yep. Sure.
until
Thank you so much.
just wanted to make sure that you have a good understanding and prepared. So for tomorrow, like you said, mainly be able to talk about your project and the tools and technologies that you have worked with in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and also why you are interested into this company. Okay, that's gonna
Okay.
be very high priority. And other than that, API testing, like keep focusing on your API testing and UI testing, that you have done a very hands-on extensive testing for the UI functionalities and features, as well as the API filtering, and just get through this first clearance round. And then
Mm-hmm.
we'll have another session to prepare more deep dive into the technical round. Okay,
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
you're welcome. All right, Permit, talk to
Have
you later.
have a
Bye.
good night. Yep, sure. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.